Alright, hello all. This video is going to be on how I like to configure my Xfce4 desktop in Arch Linux specifically. So this is the Xfce4 desktop, but it doesn't look like out of the box basically. It looks more like this. And there's nothing wrong with this at all. It's still functional, and it's great for, if you select a web browser, which I don't have installed in the VirtualBox here. It'll ask you for which web browser do you want to use, and you have your terminal and your home folder. This is down here. I should zoom in. Terminal, your home folder, web browser, application finder, your home folder. That's like a pop-out, and show desktop. Nothing wrong with that. First thing I like to do though is, or first thing we should be aware of is I don't have a compressed command. I don't have an archive manager. A GUI one. So open a terminal, and the Xfce4 configuration files are in, surprisingly, the .config folder. So just change directory to .config, press tab, and ls, and you see I made a backup there, a tar gz file, and it's very simple. If you think about it, it's tar, okay, a dash, and the operation for Z, compress, and if you want to compress it, it's C, and V is for verbose, and F for folder or file. Then you give it a name, Xfce 4-10 what's it? Halloween, happy Halloween by the way. 15. And then a tar.gz, gz, and then the folder you want, Xfce4, and press enter. And the V is for the verbose that shows you. Now if I clear the screen and ls, you can see we have the new folder. And then decompress, just arrow key up, and just change a couple of lines. A couple of things is change the C to X, and then tell it to a capital dash capital C to / home or something. Now if you go to your home folder, you can see Xfce4 is extracted there. Obviously we don't want that, so just shift delete to get rid of it. But that's basically the idea until I install a graphical interface for compression. So just get out of the terminal for now. And this is the basic Xfce4 menu, and you have your workspaces. If you use your mouse, it'll go between them. And of course your time and your date, and your session manager here. You can suspend, log out, shut down. The log out gives you all the options you might want. So with that said, out of the box you can make it look a little better. So go out to appearance and say Xfce4 or 4.2. You see it's changing. Say that one. Icons, I'm just going to leave. Fonts, I like to, the way I see things is slight, so it looks a little sharper to me. Sub-pixel order RGB. DPI is really cool. If you go, say, to 98, obviously it makes things bigger, back down to 96. Under Window Manager, there's a whole bunch that come out of the box. The one I like to use is, if I'm not going to use that, any custom themes, is this one. And I also like to get rid of this roll-up thing. It's fine if you want to use it, but to get rid of it, you just take this one here. I'll zoom in, this one, and just drag it into hidden. Now it'll still roll up the window, but it's not shown there. Under the Window Tweak Manager, everything's fine there. Workspaces. Now, if you don't want to use multiple workspaces, or you don't want to have this mouse wheel, you can untick that and it won't work anymore. And you can drag this icon so you're at the first workspace. And there it is there. Now placement, if you want windows to open, you know, in different areas, you can leave it like that, or you can take this minimum size to trigger smart placement all the way to the end. And now you open a terminal and a folder, and they both pretty much open up in the middle. That's the way I like it. Now Compositor, it says synchronized drawing, so VSync basically, which is probably get away with it on your hardware and probably in VirtualBox. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. And window decorations, and you can have the transparency levels of each one, as you can see here. So window decoration up here, so you make it more transparent or none at all, and pop up. So if you right click down here, I'll make it a little extreme, you can see that it's really transparent, usually around there. During resize or during move, well, again I'll do an extreme example so you can see it's very transparent, or to something like this, whatever you wish. So out of the box already it looks a little better. Now if you go back to our appearance and icons, if you switch to the default one, or say GNOME, it looks a little better. Under settings, I always enable these. This is fun with accelerators in Thunar, and sounds. There isn't many sounds, but they do play. It's kind of fun. So that's a basic theming scheme right there. Alright, so nothing too fancy. Now for the desktop, I don't like to have this application thing. It's up to you. I just go to desktop settings. Background we'll leave for now. Menus, and you just untick this and that extra menu's gone. Icons, whatever you wish. You can have the home folder or not, or a file system, or a trash, or removable drives. I usually untick all of these. The reason there's no trash is because I didn't install the Xfce as of yet. So if you want single click, you can have your home folder, and single click and open your home folder. But if you want to have single click in your actual home folder, you have to edit Thunar preferences, or you can do it through the settings menu. So behavior, single click to activate, and how long. Default is fine. Middle click, you can open a new tab. So middle click, it opens a new tab. Desktop, middle click to close it, and single click to open a folder. So moving along, I just changed the icons to high contrast just for fun. If you like this panel, you can leave it, or you can go to Properties, Panel Preferences, and unlock the panel, and say its orientation, say vertical, and you can move it here if you want. You notice the home folder moved, and you can lock the panel and say always hide, close. And you can still see that it's there, but if you hover your mouse over the edge, you can still access it. Whatever you want, you can do. You know, it's very flexible Xfce 4 interface. So to get similar to what I have, obviously the panel's at the bottom, and I don't have one of these, which you can create or remove or whatever you want. So there's several ways. You can go to the settings manager and just go right to where it has a panel and lock the first panel. See, there's two panels, right? So this is the first panel at the top. You can drag it down to the bottom, and you can change the size of the icons like so. See, like an extreme. So I usually have around 30, 35, 36, sometimes 40. So 36 or whatever. You lock the panel, and automatically increase. Well, it's 100% anyway. And the auto hide is, you can have intelligent hide. So if you open your home folder and you, oops. Oh, sorry. Let me just close this. It should, yeah, it hides when, obviously, you know what that would be. So back to our panel. You can access it through settings as well, panel. And appearance, again, you can make it more transparent. So say if you had completely transparent, but you don't like this as much. It depends a lot on the theme, okay? But also the window buttons here. If you go to the wrench, now it's a wrench. That can change on your icon themes, but it's a show handle, okay? So we don't have that little, here, I'll show handle. You see the little handle there. And untick that and use flat buttons. So when I minimize windows, it doesn't look quite as stark, but it's still not quite what we want. So you need a theme, obviously, to change that. So that's in the item menu. And the workspace switcher, if you want to keep that, I usually just remove it. It always asks you want to remove, so you just remove. Notification, this thing down here, I always remove that. And then the clock, I set that to 12-hour, yes, with the seconds. And notification area, you don't see it because there's nothing in the tray right now, but show frame. And I untick show frame. And everything's basically the same from there. But there's a few other things you can obviously have to do. We're going to have to get some theming, and I usually start with the new mix theme. So we'll just open you can either, wherever you want, you can have your terminal here. And I was going to do a sudo, or just pacman dash capital S small s new mix. And there it is, right here. So you just take this and copy and sudo pacman dash capital S. Here, I'll just paste that in and enter and give it a bit of time to download and install for you. Once it's installed, you can go to your application settings, settings manager, appearance. New mix will show up. And then we'll go back to all settings and the window manager. Again, if you want to go with just standard icon sets and themes, again, pacman dash capital S. I think it's Faenza or something. Yeah, there we go. And there's a whole bunch you can get. I'll just get the first one. Now this one takes a while to install for some reason. Not to download depends on your connection, but to install. So sudo pacman dash capital S. Again, I'll paste that in. So once you get sick of that, just go back to your settings and settings manager, appearance, icons. Oops, sorry. You pick from what you want, whatever you want, and you see. And back to the window tweak manager. You see there's a shadow here between the desktop and the wallpaper. You just uncheck if you don't want that show shadows under dock. And it's gone, so it's pretty, again, whatever you wish there. So for the terminal, I like to edit preferences and go to appearance and display menu, so it doesn't always show this. Sometimes I like to change the font to something larger, say 14, and you can see it's larger. And background, transparent background. It's set to really extreme, but I think it's just to show you, to make it obvious that it is very transparent. So I bump that up to 80, sometimes 90, or whatever in between. Transparent panel. So if I close that, and if you still have your little dock thing here, you see there's no menu bar, which you can still get to it. Preferences and right click. However, since I modified this, We'll go back to our configuration file in our home folder, .config. You go to Xfce4 folder. Now there's a new entry, terminal. And I don't have a text editor, so I'm just going to open a terminal here. And nano is a basic command line text editor. Terminal RC file. And where it has the cursor shape, you can type in capital letters underline. Save. Oops, I'm going to control right out and control exit. And now we have just an underline for the cursor. That's my personal preference. So in our home folder, you probably noticed we don't have any documents, you know, the usual stuff in here. That's because I didn't, with the Arch Linux you build, that's what I like about Arch Linux and Xfce. You can build stuff if you wish to have it. So I have an alias bash file, so sudo pacman -S alias for me is pack, okay? And I'm going to get xdg-user-dirs, okay? Press enter. Okay, so just for the safety, I'm going to close the file manager and type in xdg-user and then press tab and put an S on that at the end, dirs, dash, and then press another tab, update. And let's go back to our home folder. And there we go. There's all our documents and stuff. So moving along, I like to use the Xfce4 Whisker Menu plugin from the Arch Linux repositories. So just very simple to install that, and it's installed. So different ways you can get your panel. Another one is right-click on the panel, go to Preferences, Items, and remove the application menu. Now it's an X. That's what I was saying, the icon theme sets can change the way these buttons look. And we're going to click Add, and he's down at the bottom. Whisker Menu, Add. Close this, and he's right here. We're going to move him up right to the very top. He's on this side. And that's it. And if you don't, personally I find this annoying panel, so I'm going to just remove the panel. Nope, cancel. Sorry, let's go to panel itself. And click panel down to panel 2 and remove. Yes. There we go. He's gone. And then now we have our Whisker menu, which I like to set up with opacity, transparency to about 70. Behavior, I tick all these because I have the menu at the bottom, so everything sort of looks set up properly, basically. And commands, okay, Mugshot isn't installed in Arch Linux Xfce4 desktop, so you can untick that. Menu Libre is not installed, so you untick that. Switch users, I think it's a different command. Lock screen should work, and the Xfce4 settings manager. So I'm going to untick lock screen. So all I have is log out and all settings. So we'll go back to our panel and just very basic. So now we can get to our all settings much quicker than having to scroll through the menus. Alright, so I made some notes so you can follow along, and as usual I'll upload these so you can just copy and paste if you wish. You notice that I've added AUR files, so make sure you have an AUR helper such as Yowart or PAMAC or something, or you can download and compile them yourself, whichever you wish. Okay, I wanted to move on to this Whisker icon. Go to Properties and just click the icon. Give it a second. So the Faienza icon set, it's under Location Icons, and they have Distributor Logos, and there it is there, Distributor Logo Arch Linux. Press OK. There we go. Now you have an Arch icon. So I just did a quick reboot, and I installed the GVFS file system manager, and now if you want the trash, there it is on your desktop. And as I said, desktop properties, icons, whatever you want. So you can untick or tick, whatever you want. I'll just leave it there for now. Alright, now I like to use ngrandpa. It's an archive manager, and it's in Xfce4. So I've already installed that. It's just Pacman, sudo Pacman, capital S, and Grandpa. And then we need the compression utilities such as unir, unrar, zip, unzip, p7zip, and you can get these other ones if you want. So sudo pacman -capital S, and you just do them all in one line. Unrar, can't speak today. Zip, unzip, and p7zip. All right. In between rebooting the virtual machine, I found out the ngrandpa standalone in the Pacman doesn't seem to work too well. So you have to go to if you want to use ngrandpa-sunar, you have to go to the Arch Linux user repository archive and compile it. And there's another one I use, it's called Xfce for the menu editor. I'll try to get to that in a second, but most of this is the theming and the look. So speaking of Arch Linux user repository, as I said, if you have YowArt installed, just get the main one I use is GTK theme config. So just open a terminal. I'll paste that in. There's only one result, so you press 1. This is I've used this a million times, and no need to edit the configuration, and just let it download and build and install for you. It's not that big actually. And there we go, it's done. I'll just exit out of the terminal here. Now you go to your settings, and there's a new option, theme configuration. And under panel, background, black, select that. And colors, just mix and match, say select that one, apply. And I don't have the notification, so it didn't tell me to log out. So I'm just going to log out and log back in. Oh yeah, forgot. Then you have to toggle it on, then apply, close, and log out. And try that again. Sorry. There it is. So now it's a black border, and depending on your wallpaper, you might not see it as much, the transparency, so we'll bring it down a bit more. There we go. And see the clock color has changed, and we have a little more, well, a different looking desktop, and it seems to match a bit better with the window buttons. Now for the icon theme, the last person asked me what it was. It's the New Mix Circle icon theme Git version. So again, it's more downloading, compiling through the user repository using YowArt. Okay, apologies. I had some problems with the network and things weren't responding, so I just rebooted my main system here. So I managed to download the New Mix Circle icon theme and just changed it, as you can see here. And it was under settings, of course, and appearance, and icons. There's just New Mix, Circle, Light, New Mix, Light, and so on. So the circle was the one that was mentioned. So as far as the what's in here, I usually don't have much myself, but you can put like through the Whisker menu, you can just right click and say add to desktop or panel. So panel and terminal, if you want it on your panel, add to panel. I downloaded Firefox, add to panel, and what else is there? I think that should be it from there. Then we just go to our panel preferences and move them up. Items, so launcher. There's your home. Next one is your terminal, and last one is your web browser. Okay, so we're nearing wrapping this up. I just downloaded wallpapers from Google search. So we'll go to our home folder and open pictures, middle click, as we talked about before, to open a new tab, and create a new folder, call it Wallpapers or Walls, and open that folder and just take the ones in the download, and we'll just drag them into the Walls directory. And right click on Desktop Settings, and where it has a folder for Xfce, just select Other, and we'll go to our Home folder, Pictures, Walls, and select or Open there, and just click one, and there you go. What I like though is this change background every minutes or day, hour, so say every day, and then random. And if you open a terminal and you just simply type Xf desktop -N, it changes the wallpaper. So all you do is you just take that command, make it very simple, and just open from the Whisker menu, keyboard, there it is there. Application shortcuts, add new one, paste that in, press OK, and something like Control Alt and slash, close, and close the terminal, and hit that key combination. There you go. Okay, so back to the same configuration. If you press Control H, it'll show all the hidden files, the dot files, and there's their GTK-RC, and I don't have anything to open that with, so I'm going to grab LeafPad. So sudo pacman -S LeafPad. Alright. Try that again. There we go. So this is what the I put that dot on, didn't I? Sorry, the seam configuration. This is what it puts here. Okay. Now, if you want to change up the Whisker menu, there's lots of documentation for different themes. You would put it in here. So I'm just going to take from the clipboard I have and paste that in. Save and close, unhide or hide those back if you want, and then log out, and this should look a little more, will look different, that's for sure. So let's take a look at our Whisker menu. There we go. Now it's more inline, basically, not exactly, but more in line with what we have for our basic theming and stuff. And there's lots of other things you can do, obviously, with the GTK-RC, but I would back that up. So just open your terminal. Your Sonar File Manager, and actually, let's go to Edit, File. And when I was talking about the very beginning, accelerators, if you press F, if you highlight over Open Terminal here, press F4. And then press F4 inside the any folder you're in. So if we go to like Downloads, press F4, it'll open in Downloads. So Control H, F4, copy GTK-RC-2.0 to .GTK-RC-2.0.back. The reason I did that is because if you use this theme configuration, if you use this theme configurator or configuration and change any of this, it'll overwrite this Whisker menu. So you just copy from the backup the Whisker menu setting, copy it back in, and then log out again. And lastly, just to have places here, if you can manipulate these as well. I usually work backwards and it seems to work, so just right click on any one of these folders, send to side pane, there's videos, and then whatever you want, pictures for example, downloads, and documents. If you don't want to use browse network, you just right click in this pane and just unselect it, it's gone. You can do the same for under places. If you don't want to see the desktop, or whatever you want, and press F9 to toggle the sidebar, and F4 now to open a terminal. You can also slimline this more, is press Control M, and now you don't even have the menu. Press F10, and F10 again to access it, or just deselect and it just automatically hides if you like that kind of thing. Okay, so let's go in our .config folder. You see we have our backup Xfce4 folder. Now we have a GUI. We can create an archive of what we just did. File name 1031 dash. Let's make sure it's different. Let's put the 2015. Press enter. There we go. Or you can name them whatever you want. They're not very big. You see, it's only 6.2 kilobytes. So in this here, you go to your GTK folder and it says bookmarks, and that's where they are. You can create one. I believe it would be computer. Oh, I'm sorry. Computer : and 1, 2, 3. Save. There it is. It just showed up in the side pane. So you click computer and have your access to your whatever devices you have. Basically, you can rename this to devices or whatever you want. Okay, so I hope that wraps it up. I think I got most things covered. I had to edit this video, and hopefully it won't be too long to watch. But there are a lot of things, as you can see, you can do with Xfce4 and especially Arch Linux. And as I said, I'll post the notes and other stuff you can try out. Alright, so that should do for this one, and thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. And bye for now.